Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga Texas construction update video. I had a great time the last week out in California. I got a chance to tour the Fremont factory, which was awesome. Got a chance to meet some familiar faces, and we went out on the track, and I got a chance to drive with some of their professional drivers on their track at Plaid speed, and got a chance to check out all of that acceleration. Really great event. And a lot of people that came in for the X Takeover event. Now, the Fremont factory tour itself was quite good. I got a chance to see a lot of the factory. Unfortunately, I was not able to take video or images within the factory, but there were a lot of displays that I was able to get pictures of. And I also met with Hrushikesh, who's the plant manager out at Fremont, kind of the counterpart to Jason Shawhan here at Giga Texas. Nice displays inside, of course outside, and this is part of some of the interior of the factory displays that we were able to take pictures of. Now I'm going to do a video coming up here in the near future, kind of comparing and contrasting Fremont and Giga Texas from kind of memory and some of my observations, and hopefully you'll find that interesting. Now, the very next day, we had the X Takeover event at San Mateo, which is just near San Francisco. And there was a lot of people that came in from all over the world for this event. Nice wraps on Cybertrucks and plenty of different displays all throughout the area. Now, of course, I got a chance to meet some really great people, some of which, if you follow YouTube, you might recognize. Others just viewers of mine or people that I met while I was there, and got a chance to see all kinds of kind of creative ways of personalizing their vehicles. And they had the Aha Yes Cybertruck there and the Hedgehog, and they made a lot of fun about the fact that I have that on the flagpole. Of course, Mars Mission 1, The Kessler Effect, great book if you get a chance to purchase that on Amazon. A lot of other people as well, and the Giant Hedgehog, of course. In addition to that, we had a lot of great displays from Tesla themselves. That includes the Cybercab, and got a chance to see that up close again. Hopefully we'll see that much more frequently here at Giga Texas now that we're well into the summer. Of course, Optimus did make an appearance at the event as well. And so just a bunch of more people that I got a chance to meet. I was at the influencer tent. They even had my name on there. I got a chance to have a long line of people coming up. Sandy Monroe was there. I got a chance to meet him. Of course, Felix and Ellie in space, and many other people. And of course, there's also Tesla Booma Mama as well, who's the queen, and Herbert Ong. This is Wes. He is the engineer in charge of making the Cybertruck, and it was really great getting a chance to meet him. Of course, the semi was there. I met Lars Moravi, and the semi was his favorite. He gave a great speech for the entire crowd, and that is available in full on the Tesla Silicon Valley's website. Of course, all of these videos that I make are also available and full length on my YouTube channel, so make sure you check them out. But what a great time in California. And finally, there is news here that affects Giga Texas. Samsung is building a $25 billion semiconductor fabrication facility just north of Giga Texas, and Tesla just inked a $16+ billion deal to secure the chip manufacturing for their AI6 chip, which will be coming up in a few years. And this is going to really help out with the compute and the inference compute, sort of merging them together with the Dojo. And this is going to significantly affect the full self-driving, the Optimus robots, and a lot of the AI applications. Now, an interesting part of the deal is that Elon Musk will be walking the line here at the Samsung plant and making sure that they have good efficiencies. So great to see this partnership, and this is very close to Giga Texas. So without any further ado, let's get the drone in the air, fly around, and see what Giga Texas looks like today. If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you. My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga Texas. Well, good morning from Giga Texas. It is good to be back after a little more than a week being gone out in California. Got a chance to tour the Fremont factory, the X Takeover, and I had a great time out there, but it is definitely overdue to get back in the drone and fly around Giga Texas. And starting at the bottom of the screen, see some more unpackaging of some glass for the WW Glass Company. I think I saw where some of that glass was installed, and I'll show you that here momentarily. The parking garage still has that privacy fence on the ground, a lot of green grass because of the relatively cool temperatures and rains that we've had around here. And as I zoom in, this is a great view of more of the materials, more of the pipes that have been stockpiled here. In addition to that, a lot of equipment. We can see those containers, the blue wrapped, and some of the wooden crates. Now, there is a new permit. It has to do with phase 2 of the South Extension. And I think this is related also to the impact report, where they talked about recapturing more of the heat energy from the cortex and using it throughout the factory. And I will cover that on a future video. Now, as we get over the testing and calibration lot, really there's just a few Cybertrucks here in the superchargers and in the lot below the drone, but otherwise not a lot of changes. There are changes here at this temporary loading platform on the ground. We can see those white and red items, some in wrapping of silver. These are all production equipment that is being prepared to be moved up inside. In addition to that, we see some red robotic assemblers. There's one on the right of the screen. And as I pan to the left, we're going to see some really large ones here in the middle of the screen. And I'll try to zoom in to give you a little better view. That kind of electric cart next to it gives you an idea of the scale, because you can imagine 2 humans can go in that cart really easily. But this is a close-in view of these robotic assemblers, and this is most likely destined for the 3rd floor of the newly renovated and expanded body in white. Of course, the mezzanines that they've added in there as well. There are some new permits in addition to the one I just talked about. They are for a special project. It spans multiple different areas around the factory, and I will try to give you some more details on those permits on my next video. But needless to say, there is a lot of work inside for production lines and for future products. All underway. Now we do see some white items at the bottom right. It looks like more maybe platforms that'll be used for the setup of those production lines. As we get closer to the southeast corner of the factory, I'm going to zoom back out and just take a look at what is going on at the south end here, staging yard, where all of these pipe segments, we see the kind of green segments on the bottom center, some of the steel corrugated pipe segments, also some concrete sections as well. And this continues to be stockpiled for some future construction, and I'll keep an eye on that. As we go over the water detention pond on the bottom left, we'll get closer into the cooling unit, where again all 6 fans are operational. See some of that condensation at the bottom of the screen going across the concrete. And in addition to that, we can see where there are some of the steel studs, the yellow wall panels, and above that some of the glass. And I believe that this is where some of that glass that we saw on the crates that had been unloaded earlier in the video have been placed. And they're also putting in these temporary wall structures. They'll both have those yellow panels. They'll put a texturized coating, and then I expect it to be stained kind of a black, similar to what we see on the other side, so that it all blends together. But I'm going to pull away for a nice overall shot of the factory from this vantage point, and we'll continue to maneuver around here on the south end. While we do so, at the bottom of the screen, more excavation just on the south end of the River Road. It looks like there's some trenching, and it looks like maybe preparations for some concrete vaults. We see a lot of those white trucks underneath that power line near that road. So that'll be something to keep in mind. As I bring the drone back down, this is a nice view along the west berm, emanating from just south of the caisson and all the way to the north. Much of the trench work looks like it has been smoothed out, maybe even filled back in. We see some of those trench boxes in the center of the screen just going under the drone, and more of the pipe segments all stored and ready to go. Here's a nice segment with some auger drill bits on the left and some more of the trench boxes going underneath the drone, and a great view of some of the items that are being stored here that will be installed. I'm going to cross back over the road, come back to the southwest corner where we see that paneling and the two large doors. That's similar to what I expect on that southeast side. In addition to that, looks like there's some workers doing some preparation around the base of the glass and the perimeter grade beam. I don't know if that's landscaping or if there's going to be some additional construction underway there soon. Now, we'll continue to see a lot of Model Ys driving autonomously to the south along the road on the left. You see another one coming up there. There is a lot of production going on today, and we're going to see that evidence over at the westbound, outbound lot here momentarily. I was trying to maneuver here to give you a view inside this drive pathway where you see those railings and the markings, but there is a semi-truck that decided to drive right underneath me. So I'll just keep the drone up, maneuver the drone back to the north along where we see that window line, and of course some of these receiving docks, and instead show you some additional trench work, trench boxes, and work for pipes that is going on here next to this parking lot and the trailer. As I continue to pan the drone up, we can see the work all along the berm, and it's a little bit closer now to where the vehicles are parked. And you can see that black silt fence and some more of the trench boxes along the bottom part of the berm. There's more trenching going on here and trench box next to the flagpoles, and a good view all the way up to the north. Now I'm going to pass by the flagpoles. We're going to turn and take a look at the exit point for the Model Ys. As I mentioned, there is a lot of activity today. I've seen a constant stream of vehicles coming out of this exit point and then driving down the road. As I come in and zoom in, we'll see a Model Y driving in the middle of the receiving doors, maneuvering itself to come out this door. And in addition to that, we see the headlight for yet another one of the Model Ys, and that will be exiting here very soon. Clearly, they are autonomously driven, and these are on their way over to the west end of line facility. As I mentioned, here's another one of the white Model Ys coming out, just following the other one, and then that continued on its way over to the west side. So speaking of which, I'm going to reposition the drone and we'll get ready to cross over the highway. We'll take a look at the activity on the other side. You can see the vehicles arriving in those lanes to the left. Those are the ones that we saw departing the factory on the other side of the highway. A lot of Cybertrucks also entering the north end of the end-of-line facility. This is where they do all of the final processing before the shipping process commences. On the right, no semi-truck today at the Megacharger. We do see a lot of activity on the test track, and this is just another indication of production really going strong, even though it's early on a Wednesday. Now, I did notice this new structure. It's near where the construction has been underway with the trenching, the pipes, and some of the concrete vaults. This is a great view of this facility. It looks to me like it may be a wash area, perhaps where they'll bring the cars in and wash off some of the dust and debris. And then they have this system that they've installed, possibly for a collection basin. That is my guess and my conjecture right now, but I'll continue to monitor that. But this structure has been put up in the last week since I was out in California. A lot more activity here with the vehicles. You can see on the test track coming around the superchargers being prepared on the right-hand side of the screen, plus all the ones that have been put on the outbound lot with trucks getting lined up to pick them up. I'll bring the drone down lower so we can get a view of all of these vehicles. I still do not see anything noticeable that tells me if they are different variants of the Model Y. So for now, I'm just going to assume these are the standard Model Ys that have been produced here for the last several months. So as I continue to fly further to the west over this part of the outbound lot, I wanted to get a quick look at all of the materials that are being stored here. In the upper right is a nice view of downtown Austin where the robotaxi fleet is going through its paces. And then of course here is all of these materials, some of the transformers and a lot of the spools of cabling that are being used along with those transformers. Shops on the upper right for doing work and welding. We see some more equipment here at the bottom of the screen. Another one of these Quonset hut-like items that I think is used for cleaning off much of the equipment. And as we continue to fly along, we see more of the production equipment in boxes and crates, and of course all of these brown wrapped items that are indeed heading to Giga, Nevada. When I was at X Takeover, I was talking to Lars Moravy, and he even mentioned these to me and said that he's been watching my videos and also looking for Zanglers out at Giga, Nevada to see when they are arriving, and he did in fact confirm that these are for the semi-truck. We also see more equipment here, some of which is for battery cell production. Other items look like they may be for either scaffolding or maybe for shelving units that have been installed within the factory. Here's more equipment next to the workshops and some superchargers as well. I'm going to bring the drone up to a higher altitude, quickly look at this field where they've been doing a lot of the dirt storage and also some of the material that comes out of the tunnel boring machine with the caissons. And as I maneuver around, we see more of the steel items that have been used inside the factory for some of those mezzanines, more deliveries of these trucks arriving to this location. We do notice that the white, smaller tent-like structure has been dismantled. That would have been on the right-hand side of the screen, but we do see a lot of equipment showing up here. To be honest, I think that much of this is related to Cybercab production lines as they are continuing to get those set up. And I think that's why these are all being stored here temporarily. Now, some of the silver mylar type items look like they are robotic assemblers on this side of the site. And you can see that on the kind of right-hand side of the screen. Of course, more materials being unloaded from the trucks, and more of those trucks are lined up for the opportunity to have their materials removed as well. Now I'm going to pan around. We'll see those trucks lined up. We'll also see some of those robotic assemblers at the bottom of the screen in the silver, and many more items on those trucks just getting ready for unloading. Of course, more of the transformers here at the bottom of the screen. Those have not changed a number in the last week or so. And of course, as we continue to fly around here, we saw more robotic assemblers, more of the production equipment along this area, along with some more steel, trucks unloading again, and these white wrapped items, which I think may be building materials, but it's hard to tell for sure. I'm going to bring the drone up to a higher altitude so we can cross through the power lines. A nice view of the West warehouse on wheels, of course the main factory, and with the sun angle, a little bit of choppiness in the video because of the propellers, so I'll turn the drone around. We'll get rid of that effect and take a look at this crane, the caisson, and the work that is underway. We do see some pipe segments on the bottom of the screen. I think those are destined for the west berm. And then here we see that most of the concrete pipe segments have been moved inside, although there are a few remaining. But that may indicate something with the tunnel operation. As I get down lower here, we see the perimeter fence, the Cyber tunnel, and Cyber trucks exiting from the tunnel, driving autonomously along this road, getting ready to arrive at these 4 lanes where they will then stage for movement into the end-of-line facility for that final processing. So I'm just going to chase around this Cybertruck at this low altitude. Kind of gives you an idea of what it's like if you were in a Cybertruck driving along these lanes. And then, of course, where it is joining up with more of the Model Ys that have also autonomously driven around the factory, the South Bridge, and then along that road to this point. So really cool to see all this operation and activity this early on a Wednesday. This loading platform continues to be busy with materials and equipment being moved inside. I'll zoom in closer where we see what appears to be pallets and maybe equipment that has been unpacked, and now they're getting ready for these pallets to head over for recycling. A little bit of view on the inside too, tough on the sun angle, but it gives you a little idea of what's going on here with that added mezzanine that makes this a 4-story part of the factory now. As we pass this employee entrance and bus stop, also some more recycling of the battery cell materials. I did want to show you next to this toll booth that there is work that is underway here. I think this may be TxDOT. It's not technically part of Giga Texas, so they are doing some work along this berm by the highway. Now, closer to Giga Texas, we can see that new perimeter fence between the berm and the walk path here at the bottom and center of the screen, plus more of the berm work that is going on here as well. And the great view of how the fence line is continuing all the way up to that cyber berm. It looks like there's still some work to be done to finish up this fence, but it is definitely taking shape and answers why we saw those workers next to the sidewalk on my previous video. Now, while we're here on the north end, a nice view of what is going on at the north part of the factory, some deliveries, some crates. And while we're here, I'm going to kind of maneuver over to where the casting, sorting, and handling lot is. Plus, we can see more of that perimeter fence and how it is located in conjunction with all of these rack mounts for the castings. On this east side, most of the materials and crates have been broken down. It looks like there are platforms that have been partially assembled. And of course, more of the bumper paint stands on the left of the screen. As we fly towards the melt center and the baghouse filtration plant, we can see more of the castings. Some of those are Cybercab front and rear subframe. And then, of course, more materials, 2 more containers that have been brought here at the melt center with more of the aluminum wheels and scrap that is used to be melted down. And then, of course, the alloy that is manufactured here is used for the castings. A nice low altitude view of all of the activity here on the east side. I'll bring the drone up to a higher altitude. We'll pass by the baghouse filtration plant, which looks like it's pretty much operational. And I wanted to stop here at this temporary platform where on previous videos and also some views that I've seen from some DM documents that have been sent to me, they've been putting in some more of the milling machines that are used to prepare the castings. But now on that second floor, where you can see with this view into where that temporary platform leads to, and a lot of that equipment's been loaded up. Now, while I'm staying at this altitude, I'll keep the zoom in so we can get a good view of all of the castings. Model Ys are what we're seeing right now at the bottom of the screen. And as we continue to proceed next to the melt plant, we're going to start seeing some of those Cybercab castings, front and rear subframes in those rack mounts. And then on the northeast side is more of the Cybertruck castings. So I'm going to fly over Tesla Road. We're going to come up to the 2 megapacks, and this is a great overall shot. I did notice that there is activity right underneath the power lines next to megapack number 1. Also looks like they are preparing some road surface, and perhaps it's going to connect underneath the power lines over to this side, maybe with some asphalt or some other material to help with the mud that happens with the rains. Now, of course, Megapack 2 continues to have its final connections done. Still don't see any of that gravel mix on the ground, but otherwise it's looking very close to being completed. All of the temporary offices and trailers are still here. When I did my tour last week, I did ask when they going to be moving, and they were not sure, but they were really interested in moving because those trailers are very old. As we get closer to the electrical switch yard here, a couple of detail items I want to show you. First, this excavation that is connecting the original underground vault with those 3 trailers over to this new underground vault. And of course, this new underground vault itself has had all the walls poured with concrete. Looks like they're putting putting some drainage pipes in. You can see the openings where the conduit will come in along this side of the structure, and they are getting ready to fashion all the rebar for the roof so that that can be enclosed. And once it is all finished, it will look very similar to what we see with those 3 trailers at the top of the screen. But as I maneuver here, this is a great look at all the work that is underway. And of course, the full wall pouring of the concrete now complete. It looks like they're also preparing some gravel that will kind of line around the structure once it's ready for the pit to be filled back in. We do see what looks to be a grid pattern on the extension for the construction of the expanded switchyard, and that is visible here on the ground. So I don't know if they've got that grounding grid already completed and if that was done during my time away or if they are just preparing for that. That'll be something I'll watch to see, but a grounding grid is necessary for the operation of the electrical switchyard, and it will be done before the main superstructure is assembled. As we continue to fly along this north side looking south over this construction area, we see that expanded area next to the trees at the bottom of the screen. Of course, Cortex 2 with much of the wall panels now. I'd say it's close to about maybe 95% of all the wall panels have been at least attached to the studs around the entire structure. And we'll come back for some closer and lower views in a moment. Here's the distance between the Cortex 2 on the right, the die shop, and the battery cathode plant. And as I maneuver around, we can just get a good sense of this entire complex of structures now and how it is definitely coming together and transforming into much more of an industrial kind of look. Now there's those pipe materials at the bottom of the screen, and on the bottom left, there'll still be stockpiled there. The cell testing lab is passing on the bottom right. I did ask Wes about the wade pit. He does say that they do periodically use it, although not that often. And he did promise to put chlorine in it to help with the algae water. But it was great to get a chance to talk to Wes about some of these facilities here when I was out at the X Takeover event. And for those that may not know, Wes was the chief engineer for the Cybertruck and is still very actively involved with that program. As I maneuver here, just a quick view of the crash testing facility, some of the crash tested vehicles next to the fence line, and overall just what this section of the buildings look like. So I'm going to maneuver around on the east side and we'll get ready to go through the alleyway between the die shop and the battery cathode plant. Here we see some man lifts on some other equipment on the bottom left of the alleyway. Some of the tanks and vaporizers on the right. More of the tanks, vaporizers. I don't see really any condensation on the vaporizers today, at least not this time of day, but we do see the fan units, all 4 of them operational. As we pass over this small material staging yard, which continues to shrink in the amount of equipment here, we do see some piles of dirt and next to this construction fence, of course, the added section of land next to the tree line looks like it may be used for water drainage based on the depression on the right-hand side of the screen. And of course, here's a great view of the north end of the building with the blue wall panels on those steel studs. Taking advantage of the lighting, this is a great view along the east side of the Cortex 2. Some of the materials at the bottom of the screen, and we see rebar being fashioned into these cages. Where those are going to be used, not really sure, but I'm presuming that they're going to be used on the inside, perhaps in relation to the ground slab. It's really hard to tell when an active construction site what is going on inside the building, but if I get a chance where it's a little bit less busy and maybe better lighting, I'll be able to look inside to see if they are doing any work on that ground slab. We have this new light post, which is important to maneuver around, and of course this looks like A lot more materials for the roofing. Most likely this is the insulation panels that we'll see being installed on the roof, plus perhaps more of the weatherproof membrane. A nice view of all the scaffolding and the work to finish up the wall panels, plus with that white stain and the treatment, which makes them look like they are those concrete panels to match the main factory. This is what the south end looks like. And most of that texture is completed, getting ready for that stain. As I mentioned, the roof panels, the insulation, and the weatherproof membrane installation is continuing, and they are working from the south to the north, as you can tell. And I'm going to reposition the drone one more time. We'll fly along the west side and just get a good view of the activity here. This side is more complete than the east side as far as the texture and the white stain, as you can tell. All right, so there's a good view around Giga Texas on my return to flight after being gone for about a week out at California. As I bring the drone up to a higher altitude, we'll get a great overall view of the site and what this construction area looks like in relation to the main factory, plus that west side that we visited earlier. As always, thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. I hope you have a great rest of the week.